excited to be traveling with you. I've read some of your histories, your family backgrounds, and this is going to be, as I've often said, a trip of a lifetime. And some of you already know, but my tour with Jamie Lord Semple in 2016 was the impetus for me to reboot the Clan Forbes Society, because I wanted to share the kind of experience I had visiting some of the Forbes heritage sites with all of you. So I'm just absolutely thrilled after 3 years that we're actually making it happen. And I was very fortunate to have someone of Janet's caliber recommended to us by Jamie Lord Semple, who is himself a travel expert. Janet has been handling the tours of many clans. She's well connected. I love talking to her. Every time she calls me with a problem, we go babbling on for an hour. Right, Janet?
I know, it's terrible. I know we get quite off the track, but that's all right. That's how we get to know each other these days.
Exactly. So what I want to do is I want to hand the meeting over to her. What she's going to do is go right through her guidelines. And if you have questions as we go, definitely, ask the questions. I'll wait after each section, and you can wave or you can say, hey, I have a question. And then she needs to head out, but that way we can have some time to ourselves to learn more about each other. And so I thought that'd be a good way to go. Get the hard stuff down with some of the guidelines that she has as a professional tour planner. So Janet, if you could go right ahead, and I have my little clothing and packing suggestions here. So it's all yours, Janet. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Well, first of all, hello, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to join your meeting this afternoon and share what we have and see what questions you've got, and then we'll go from there. So I'm assuming everybody's had the chance to kind of read through those, suggestions about clothing. We'll start there because I know everybody had questions about what to wear, what not to wear. So has everyone read through kind of, what you would probably want to wear out on tour through the day and then for switching up at night? I can go through it very quickly. What I said is basically for daytime activities, we suggest a wardrobe that's adaptable, versatile, casual, comfortable clothing is recommended. You are going to be getting on and off the coach, throughout the day. So, you want to be able to move, go up and down some stairs in and out of the coach. So it's, it's no extremely wide staircase. So, I want you to be able to get up and down easily, nothing too tight. As you know, there may be occasional cool weather or indeed rain. So we do recommend layered clothing. There are going to be outdoor and both indoor activities. So you want very versatile footwear. I really do suggest that it's well-worn shoes that you wear for through the day. You are going to be going up and down a lot of steps. There's going to be uneven surfaces. If it rains, it can get slick. So I want you to have well-soled shoes that are very comfortable for basically, plodding about through the day. You can always take a small bag on the coach with a dressier pair of shoes. So if there is a photo op, you can always just kind of slide the other shoes on, or a small backpack or something like that. And, if that makes you more comfortable. Certainly when you meet with Alex Forbes at Drummonor Castle and also, Sir Malcolm and Lady Forbes at Castle Forbes, then, you're definitely going to have some wonderful photo ops there. That day, I don't know what you're comfortable wearing, and I'm going to address the ladies first. So maybe if you've got like a self-colored dress, a black, a navy, or something like that, you might be comfortable wearing that. Just not too dressy, just, something kind of casual. You can always wear your sash. Typically when I'm meeting different dignitaries through the days or things like that, and I'm going to wear some tartan and I wear a sash, I wear it on my shoulder. And I typically collect part of it and I kind of rosette, and I do it with a very good old, rubber band. And I make that little rosette, and then I put my clan crest in the middle and I place that onto my shoulder. I mean, obviously you can wear sashes in so many different ways, but that is very traditional, very typical that you'll see a lot of people in Scotland, if they're going to an event where, there's going to be dignitaries or that there, they'll wear it in that fashion. If you don't want to wear a dress, you could always just wear, a plain colored skirt, a black and navy or something like that again, and, a top, same color. Or, you could wear pants as well and just a nice top and then put your sash on there. I mean, if you're really trying to show off that little bit of tartan, having a self color is probably a good idea. For our gents, if you're going to wear a kilt, then you really are looking at, country club casual. So I would say maybe a collared shirt with a sweater on top, and your kilt is plenty to wear for that particular day. We don't need Prince Charlie's, anything like that. If someone wants to wear a tartan tie with a shirt, I mean, that's acceptable too.
Janet, question. So that is during the day. What about at night? Do we change clothes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you get back to the hotel at night, then, basically what is typical in Scotland is people typically go back and get changed out of whatever they've been wearing through the day. And they may put something a little bit dressier on at night, freshen up, go for dinner. So again, for the gents, a polo shirt, a collared shirt, and, kind of casual slacks. For the ladies, same thing, skirt, dress, pants, and a top. Does that help you there?
All right, but the night with Lord and Lady Forbes, we will go back, change, and then go back to the castle. Is that what I'm understanding?
No.
Okay.
So once you finish with them through the day, then you'll be, when we finish up the tour that day, you go back to Meldrum House, and then you're basically on your own for dinner. For those that have requested dining times, those are in place at Meldrum House. So for those that want to eat out with Meldrum House, they've made requests, those are in place as well. And the same when you go to the Chester Hotel, when you're out on tour through the day, then, when you get back to the hotel at night, it's up to you, change up into whatever you want. I mean, through COVID, Scotland is very much like America now. We became a little bit more casual, even at, in the evening when people go out for dinner. You're not as likely to see people in jeans as much, but, if it's a nice pair of jeans, they're also going to be acceptable if that's what you feel you want to wear.
Janet, question. Will we have a chance to buy the sash before the first stop where that would be a good thing to have on?
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw the email, Joan, but there was a link to the Scotland shop. And
I've been in and out a lot. I saw about that, but I just wanted, are we going to be stopping there before, in a place where it would be good to wear it?
Yeah, so you've got, for yourself, Joan, you're actually going to be, you're not going to be in Edinburgh where the Scotland shop is first, but you can order online and they can either ship to you. They do have premises in the US, so they'll be able to ship from their US premises to you as well. So you would just order in advance to make sure you've got it in plenty of time to go. If not, worst case scenario, the ladies from the Scotland shop are going to come to the Downs Hotel the night before the Lonnet gathering.
Okay.
You would be able to get it there. So you could wear it at the Lonnet gathering, if you're not able to do it for that first day out when you go to Castle Forbes and Drummonor.
Janet, they said it takes 5 weeks for them to make it.
The sash?
That's what when I ordered mine online, they said 3. I think they maybe said they'll mail it to me in 3 weeks, but they did advise 3 to 5.
Okay, if you want anyone who's made an order with the Scotland shop, drop me an email. Let me know your order number. I'll follow up with the ladies and see if we can get a rush on it.
Or I have an order in to the Scotland shop that I am picking up in Edinburgh before the 18th. I am more than willing, as Natalie I can see is too. If you want to have it at the store, held at the store, I would be happy to grab those for you.
I would as well, because I'll be in Edinburgh on the 18th. So I'm picking up my order on the 18th, and I'm happy to pick up anyone else's order that they need picked up, and I can bring it with me to Aberdeen.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you, ladies, for doing that. That's a great option.
And it saves shipping.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, so any other questions on clothing and footwear? All good there? Perfect. We do definitely, I'm just going to go through this other quick list. I do suggest that you have a fold up lightweight rain jacket. Again, something that you can maybe just stick in that small backpack or a bag that you're taking with you on the coach so that you can, have that with you, slide it on, should the weather become inclement. Sometimes when it rains, it can last like 20 minutes. Sometimes it can be an hour. So I just think, I don't expect it to be super cold. I would expect the weather to be in the low 70s. So it's certainly not going to be cold, but don't quote me on that. I've been wrong before. So I think having that fold up rain jacket would be great. Same with a fold up umbrella, just a small one, again, that you could stick in your backpack. That would be great. And then, of course, I do have down here sunglasses and a sun hat, because you just never know. I have actually gone to Ireland before in July, and they had a heat wave, and they sold out of all 3 bottles of suntan lotion, and I couldn't get any. So, it's definitely worth having your sunglasses in there. I mean, if we do get sunshine, it just changes the whole environment and makes it incredibly pretty, but you definitely want a little protection against the sun too. And then obviously all the usual things, camera lenses, batteries, chargers, extra memory cards, extra memory sticks, all those kind of good things that you're going to need as well, because I know you're going to take endless pictures. On your cell phone, make sure, I think all cell phones now have an alarm function, or if you prefer, if you struggle getting up to your cell phone, take a travel alarm clock with you as well. You can also ask each of the receptions at the hotel if they can do an early morning call to your room. So lots of options there so you don't sleep in, or you might just get the tour guys banging on your door. One way or the other, they'll get you up. So perfect. And then a key thing is any medications, any prescription medications that you're taking with you, do not put it in your check luggage. Put it in your hand luggage and, keep that with you at all times. It's very difficult to get prescription refills over there. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it would be a chore for you, and you are moving about a little bit, so that could get frustrating for you. So just make sure you've got them in your hand luggage. A reusable water bottle, I'm sure you all have one of those as well. It's a great thing to take with you. Obviously, we don't get the extreme weather like we get here in the US, but you still need to be, consuming lots of water through the day, just in case you're partaking, a few extra beverages in the evening. That will help with that. I did put a note in there for those that are taking a kilt. What I find when I am taking a kilt, or certainly my husband is, to roll the kilt is the best way to pack it rather than flat packing. And, for ladies that are taking a kilt, if you have like hose and just cut one leg off and actually put that over your kilt, it keeps it very tight in a nice little tube, and you can put that in your suitcase. Or an alternative is to buy a kilt bag. A kilt bag roll literally does exactly what I'm telling you. You roll the kilt up into like a log, and it goes in a nice little case. And you could even take that as carry-on, especially if you're worried about your luggage not making it, which is quite a trend these days. And I've certainly been dealing with that for the last 2.5 weeks with people's luggage not making it. So again, I'm going to come back to that. Anything of value or anything you absolutely have to have with you, take it in your carry-on. Don't put it in your checked luggage, because the airlines are definitely struggling at the moment. And I would hate for someone's, if they really want to wear their kilt and they pack it in their check bag and it doesn't make it, then you're going to be disappointed. So that's kind of it on, that kind of stuff. We've covered prescription meds, currency and exchange rates. I typically use xe.com. It's really good. It's not the most accurate because obviously sometimes the banks have, a few more fees in there. But that's a good way to kind of get an idea of what the exchange rate is looking like. And you can do that on your phone when you're across there, because it has been bouncing about for quite some time. Certainly years now, it's been up and down and up and down. With regards to how much cash to take with you. And It really is up to yourself. We normally say $100, $150 worth of local currency in British pounds should be enough to get you going. Most places do take credit cards nowadays. Obviously, Visa and MasterCard are the most accepted. Some places do take American Express, but many do not. If you need additional cash, then you can definitely just go to a local ATM and, draw money out that way. Definitely let your banks and credit card companies know your travel dates and where, especially if you're going to, for anyone traveling through maybe Germany or something like that, let them know where you're going via, just in case, you go buy something from duty free or, whatever, so that you do not get fraud alerts. What I can tell you is, we get a fraud alert almost every single day. Unfortunately for clients, it's a great thing because at least they're all doing their jobs and making sure any transactions, anytime we're hitting the card, it's legitimate. But it's a real nuisance for you when you're over there. If you can't get straight through to a banker and get the fraud alert cleared, then that card's going to be disabled until you do get it cleared.
An article in the Washington Post this week mentioned about a change in the British money that's coming. It's not till September, but what's happening is they're taking off all the paper money, which is the higher level currencies, I think like 20 pounds and maybe 50, something like that, and using some other kind of, it's what they're lower, they call it plastic money. It'll be curious to see what it's like. And it will be good throughout our trip because it changes in September. But if you have any older money at home of these higher bills, this is what the time to get rid of them, because after September, they will not be good anymore.
Yeah, and that's right, John. Legal tender. So in those smaller notes, as you say, when I feel them, they feel like plastic, very, very thin plastic. They're bizarre.
Yeah,
it feels like Monopoly money. It's very strange to have it, but it's a safer form rather than paper. So yeah, they are phasing out a lot of the notes, and it will all be like that eventually. So yeah, but you should be fine in August. What you have, and if you're using notes from a previous trip, then they should still be legal tender, and that should not be an issue for
yes. But get rid of them now, your old ones.
You have to spend them. Go buy goodies when you're over there.
Yeah.
That's a great way to use it up. Perfect. Any questions so far on what we've covered? Good. So moving on, we will talk about taxes, VAT. So obviously, if you're doing any major purchases, I believe it has to be beyond 50 or 100 pounds, then you can actually claim the VAT back at the airport. So some of the stores, well, all of the stores used to carry the forms and they would actually fill it out for you. They don't do that anymore, but most stores should have the form. If not, I'll actually have a look and see if we can get the guides to have it in case you're making, any decent purchases, then you sure want to claim that VAT back when you get to the airport. You can only do it at the airport. You can't do it once you leave. So, that's a do or die situation if you want to get reimbursed. And then moving on to check luggage. And yes, Bart, this is where I'm always quite serious because I don't want anybody overpacking because you are going to have to handle your luggage as well. So I don't want anybody struggling. The airlines tell you anyway, 50 pounds, which is 23 kilos in your bag. They're quite specific on the length, width and height of your case as well. It should not exceed, when you add the length, the width and the height, should not exceed 62 inches. So, be mindful of that. The airlines are not great with it. And also, we want everybody to, be able to get the luggage in the coach. I know that we had some folks that might be taking golf clubs. If anyone's taken more than what I'm recommending for checked luggage, check with me if we can actually get it in the coach because, I'm definitely going to be checking to see if anybody's sneaking in that extra case or, whatever else they bring along. So we just want it to be fair for everyone. If someone really needs to take an extra piece of luggage, let me know so that we can make provisions for it. And then, let's see, then we're moving on to health and safety.
Are there any
Obviously,
questions, Janet,
oh,
are there any questions from anybody first before we move on about luggage? Okay, because I said we'd stop after each section, but you're doing great. Go.
So,
Okay.
quick, sorry. So just one bag, 50 pounds.
you got it.
Okay, so not a bag and a carry-on.
Oh, no, you can take a carry-on. I'm just talking about check luggage.
Oh, airport luggage. I'm thinking coach luggage.
Yeah, so on the coaches, when you're moving from hotel to hotel, it's still the same thing. You'll have your carry-on you can take. Well, Leslie, let me back up there. What size of carry-on are you thinking of taking?
Just like a big shoulder bag. So
No, you're fine. That's perfect. Yeah. It's not going to be another, roll on or something like that.
no, I have a big one, a big roller, and then a small roller, but I think at this point, I'm like already packing.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I haven't, my daughter and I are feeding off each other, but I have my big hard case luggage. I know I can keep that to 50 pounds. And then the first time I went over, I only brought that and ended up purchasing one of those small wheelie ones, which is considered a carry-on for the airlines. I just didn't know if that works for the coach.
That might be a little excessive for the coach. I think if your big shoulder bag sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
And I
especially-
also want to be mindful for yourselves as well, because we are moving around a little bit, and you're going to have to manage your luggage too. So just, take the pressure off yourself. If you can manage with that, that's great. If you can, if someone can, please come to me and let me know. And then we can let the coach company know that, hey, we're going to have 4 extra bags or something like that, just so they're well aware in advance and we don't have any issues. That makes sense?
Remember the coaches don't have an overhead compartment.
Right.
No.
Yeah. My coach driver wasn't happy when I came back with the little.
No, he wouldn't. Yeah, it's not like going on a plane. It's a 35-seater coach, so we have a little bit wiggle room, but not if everybody needs to take excessive amounts of luggage. So, and I'm thinking about you too, Leslie. I just don't want you being bombarded with lugging that extra case around and everything else as well. So,
And I'm fortunate. I've had, I've been on a couple of trips, so I have a little bit of experience of what is manageable for me and what wouldn't.
good.
So
Excellent.
Janet?
Yep.
I'm thinking about a medium-sized backpack.
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Things like that should be absolutely fine. Any other questions on luggage before we move on to health and safety? Perfect. Okay, so I think obviously we're all like dealing with COVID now. All restrictions, as far as I'm aware, have been taken down in Scotland. The recommendation is, should you become ill and you think it's COVID, then we would ask you to get tested, and then obviously make everybody aware of what's going on with you. And that goes with whether you get flu or whatever else. Just to be courteous to the rest of your fellow travelers, and obviously the coach driver, and everywhere we're taking you, all the attractions, the hotels, then if someone does get sick, let your guides know ASAP. There is no restrictions in place just now mandating quarantine. However, this might be, a kind of topic we might want to talk around of how you would like to handle that. No one can force you to do anything, but obviously if you're sick, just for the sake of courtesy to others on the coach, it would be, maybe a suggestion that you have to stay in the hotel until you feel better. I don't know how you all feel about this, so I'm kind of opening this up for discussion rather than we get there and it happens and we don't have a plan. So how do you all feel about that?
I will be taking Tamiflu from my allergist, who says that it works on people who've had, their shots and everything. So I'll be taking probably a test kit, Tamiflu, that kind of thing.
Janet, will you have we have test kits available to us? I thought you were mentioning.
Yeah, I have quite a few test kits in the house, and I will be giving them to Jamie and Angus to have there, so that, if somebody's, not sure and they want to get tested and know what's going on with them, then they should be able to at least hopefully have quite a few to be able to, give to people. But I mean, how do you want to handle it? If someone gets COVID, how do you want to handle it?
So what you're saying is, do the rest of us want to be near the person who has COVID?
Correct. Do you want to mask up? I mean, we want to make this comfortable for you. You know that all the restrictions have been taken down. The recommendation is that, you to wear masks, to use hand sanitizer. If someone has COVID, that they should, isolate for 5 days, just the same as it is here in the US, but it's not enforceable. So that's why I'm kind of throwing it out there. You're all going to be in relatively close proximity to each other. So I want you to definitely think on that and think about, how you want to handle your own health, but also the health of the others on the trip too.
I would suggest we think about that and come back to it after we've had a thought about that, Janet, rather than.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. As I said, I don't want to.
Hey, this is Jim. No, great idea, Bart. You stole the words out of my mouth, and I'm certain we can come to an agreement over a forum like this. Let's the board convene our next meeting, propose some suggestions, and anybody on the tour that may have suggestions or concerns, please feel free to email anybody on the board and let us know your concerns, and then we'll pitch it out there for a vote for everybody that's going on the trip for a united concurrence.
Yes.
Sounds perfect.
I don't want to embarrass anybody. I want people to feel like you can talk to any of us singly. Yeah. This is not a group vote them off the island kind of thing.
Well,
yeah, no, absolutely.
Unless it's Tim.
Get the torches.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janet,
I know.
for bringing it up.
Yeah, no.
I'd like to say one thing. I've learned from nobody in my family had even had COVID until a few weeks ago. My son got it, who knows where, except all the kids are, in swimming and all. But it took about 4 or 5 days for him to even test positive, even after he thought he might have either COVID or a sinus infection. So nobody may even know, for days if they get sick.
Good to think about. Let's come back.
Yeah.
Great idea, Jim. Our next board meeting will be the second Sunday in July. So if you get to us within the next week or two, some thoughts, your own personal perspective, that would be helpful. Good.
Hey, Bart, the only thing I'll add to this, we are coming from all places around the United States, and our connecting flights may be of different origins. Please make certain that you're checking the country that you transfer in. They may have different COVID restrictions, like we're flying into Amsterdam, and I needed a booster because I was outside the threshold of what was required for the Netherlands. I would have never known that unless I went very deep into their governmental website. I could have flew to Amsterdam and been stuck there because, one, I didn't have a negative test to enter the country, and I was past 270-day requirement to enter their country. So if you have connecting flights from Canada, Iceland, Greenland, wherever, please make certain. France was another one that we seen, Paris. Please make certain you're checking what their requirements are, because they won't even let you on the connecting flight to get to Aberdeen.
Thank you. That was really.
So, Jim, just to add to that, most of Europe now are taking down that requirement for having a negative COVID test to either transit through, or I know that most of the European countries are beginning to take down, that requirement for even staying there. The CDC and the airlines, they keep changing it. So what I would say is, as we roll forward, I really love what you said, Jim, and to add to that, check the airline's website. It is going to direct you. You can, on most of the airline websites, whoever you're flying with, just go on and then you can look at, the COVID requirements. It should tell you exactly what you need to make sure that you don't get denied in transit, to move on, or even, from the States, from leaving to actually go there. And you can normally punch in where you're leaving from, where you're going to, or where you're transiting through, and it should tell you exactly, because a lot of them are still doing tracing documents. So you may have to fill in a passenger locator form, for Germany. It's different for every country at the moment. More and more restrictions are coming down. But what I do want to say is, it is a nightmare uploading your documents to the airline websites. Some of you will have success loading them up and some will not. Do not panic. Just take a paper copy of any documents that you do need to load up to the airline website. If they won't load up, just take them to the airport, give yourself an extra 15 minutes to get to the airport, and they will handle it there. I was back in February and the restrictions were tougher then. And I had to take a paper copy of everything. We couldn't get anything uploaded onto the airline website. So just don't panic, just take it with you to the airport. The staff are really good at helping you navigate through all that as well. Hopefully, more and more restrictions are going to come down, but you're absolutely right, Jim. The last thing you want is not having the right documents for transiting, but it should be on the airline that you're flying with. They should tell you exactly what you need to take with you or upload. It should be, kind of crystal clear. Any other questions
Janet,
on that?
Is a paper Xerox of your CDC card acceptable, or do you need
No.
actual?
Take the card, take the actual card, because the airline will normally ask you to load it up as well. So no, take the actual card, don't take a photo card. What I would say, Joan, is as a backup, take a Xerox copy of your card and keep it in your hand luggage in case you lose your card, and then at least you've got something that they might be willing to work with, but they will want to see the actual document. Germany were the worst for me in that they actually, as much as we couldn't get things loaded up on our way back to the US, we did get things loaded up, but they still wanted to see a paper copy of everything I had. So it just depends who you get, you know what I mean? Most people are just going to get waved on through, but someone's always going to get stopped. And then they did temperature checks. I mean, they did the whole thing. So as long as COVID doesn't really go absolutely crazy again, I know it's a little bit on the up again here in the US, and it is in Scotland too. The numbers are going up again. I don't believe there are any plans, to shut down. So I don't think it will be an issue for us, but just keep watching those airline websites. They really will direct you to what you need to do.
Thank you, Janet. Janet, is that at the immigration booth as you're leaving? Trying to leave the country?
Probably not a bad idea.
Hey, Tim, I think I might have missed you there. What did you say there?
Does it take place as you leave a country? It's been a while since I was in a couple of years. You when you're leaving a country, you go through, you show them your passport. Is that the immigration where they want to see all the health certificates, or is it the airline?
So when you check in at the airport, they're going to ask you for your passport, your e-tickets, all that kind of stuff. They're going to check to see if you were able to upload your documents, and they would be able to see them, whatever you uploaded. Or if not, they're going to ask to see whatever documents they require. When you're in transit, then once you arrive, let's go for, Germany or Amsterdam, then what happened when I've been traveling is they have like a checkpoint. So as you're moving towards the next gate to get your next flight, they have a checkpoint and people check your documents again. And that's where they sometimes do, random temperature checks and things like that. For most people, it's just a 2-minute process. They quickly look at everything and then, wave you on through, and then you're good to go. Yeah, but it's ever evolving. It's a very fluid situation. So, just don't freak out, don't panic, be pleasant to them, because you want to get through, it's just like, just try and take it in your stride and don't get stressed out about it.
Thank you.
All righty, so moving on, as we've said from the beginning, adequate travel insurance is what we recommend. Lots of wonderful companies out there. You know, we've had all kinds of situations through the years, and obviously I've been doing travel a really long time. And for the most part, people never have to use their travel insurance. But on the occasions where someone does have to use it, it is well worth it. If you have your flights are delayed because of weather, you can't make the beginning of the tour, at least you would be able, well, we would definitely help you do a catch up to meet the tour. So you may need to have that super expensive taxi to get you there in plenty of time. At least then you can claim it on your insurance. So, or you have to spend an extra night in your transit city. At least then you can claim the hotel accommodation. I mean, should anyone become unwell, the good thing about being in Scotland is we have socialized medicine, so you're going to get attention anyway. And we've definitely done that for people, you know, in the past. But if there's, you know, if you have to extend your trip and stay a bit longer, at least your travel insurance, you know, should be covering these things. So think about travel insurance if you don't already have it. Think about, you know, the possibilities that you might want to give your travel insurance a call and just ask them outright. Should this happen? What is my coverage? Because I had a lady just 2 days ago, and unfortunately she got, you know, as far as dear old Germany again, and then got delayed because of weather. They cancelled every single flight out of Munich. She had to wait till the next day. The hotels, every single hotel was sold out. They ended up getting blankets and lying on the floor. I know. And then our next flight ended up maybe a connection flight through Zurich, and they lost her luggage. So, you know, yep. So, and now she's on a cruise with zero luggage, you know, and there's no way that luggage is going to catch her up. So, you know, I want you to think about, you know, the airlines are not doing great at this moment. I'm sure you saw it on the news, and it's for real. So I want you to be prepared. On that carry-on luggage that I'm mentioning to you as well, I would recommend you have maybe 2 days worth of clothes in your carry-on, just in case you are the unlucky one whose checked luggage doesn't make it. So at least you've got something to keep you going, because what I've also noticed, especially in the last few cases, is they only cover $300 towards clothes for your trip, should your case not make it. So that's not a lot, you know. So definitely start and ask your travel insurance companies, or look at your policies and just get real acquainted with what it's going to cover you for and what it's not, because the trend I'm seeing is the airlines are struggling, connections are being cancelled, luggage is being lost. So I don't want any of this to spoil your trip, and that's basically what we told our client 2 days ago. Go on with your trip. You're going with a bunch of girlfriends, see what clothes they've got that they're going to let you wear, and then enjoy picking up a few extra things, you know, on your trip, because it might be you. So I just want you to at least think about that. I hope it doesn't happen to you, but I'm just seeing too much of it just now. So, you know, we'll see what the airlines do. All right, so moving on from that, I'm also suggesting in your checked luggage, put a luggage tag in there, so that if they do find your luggage and they open it up, they're going to see your name and address, and they'll know who to get it to, just in case your bag tag on the outside comes off. So just an extra thing there. Definitely take a picture of, you know, the 2 pages in your passport with all your details. Keep them with you, but in your hand luggage. Keep it separate from your passport, but keep it in another bag that you've got on your person, just so if for any reason you lose your passport, it just makes it a little bit easier to get a replacement. All right, and then we go to midges. So obviously Scotland is well known for its midges, and they are killer. I mean, they are absolutely killer. If they like you, you're not going to like them. That's for sure. I mean, products like, you know, that have DEET and things in them do work. Avon's Skin So Soft, it works. The midges are pretty persistent though. They typically like to hang about, you know, bodies of water. So you're not going to be close to too much water, but that doesn't stop them. They get everywhere. There is a product across there called Midgie Butter, and it works pretty well. It's quite effective against those horrible little things. So, you know, just something to bring your attention. Some people are not bothered by them. But those who are, I mean, it'll look like you've got chicken pox and they itch for like weeks. So, you know, they're nasty
Hey,
little
Janet, this
things.
is Jim again. I got a silly question. I have not seen SOS since my mom lathered me up in the 80s from it. So where's this stuff sold at? Anybody sell Avon?
I don't, Jim, so I don't know where you would get it, but you know, yeah, I can look for an Avon
Hey,
agent.
I'm
for you.
calling my mom tonight to see if she still has some.
She's probably got a stock there. Yeah. So that's the only product that I know that works well. For whatever reason, I don't know what's in it, but it seems to, you know, deter them somewhat. But when you get over there, I mean, you can definitely pick something up or just take, you know, a usual insect repellent with you, just a small container that maybe has DEET in it, and that should work as well.
Organic lemon eucalyptus is supposed to really help with mosquitoes as well. So maybe it helps with and I read a science study on that. So maybe that would help.
Try it. I mean, yeah.
Eucalyptus and what?
It's lemon eucalyptus, organic lemon eucalyptus oil, and you can get it. It's plant therapy, and you can get it on Amazon. I can put it.
I have some of the oils, the
Can you see
essential
it?
oils. Oh yeah. All right, I'll bring mine.
There you go. There you go. And it probably smells better than Midgey butter and DEETs anyway. So I'm sure that
And you can get the little wooden beaded bracelets to put it on. You know, to wear. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Sharon will do this as an experiment. You can tell me if it works.
I will,
And
but
you could be onto something.
honey, I'm from the Gulf Coast. Believe me. I've tried everything.
Okay, so leaving that behind, going on to do's and don'ts. Obviously, one of the key things for Scotland is obviously Highland Games. You are going to the Lonnock Gathering. So, you know, that will be a wonderful way for you to experience a very local event. And the one great thing about the Lonnock Gathering is they do call it the friendly society and the friendliest games. Something that I think would be great for all of you is to really mingle with the locals. You know, put yourself out there, introduce yourself, and see which, you know, new friends or even family members or distant relations that you might meet. It really is a wonderful time to do something local and, you know, really have that cultural immersion in something that I know has to be very dear to your hearts as well, being Forbes. So, you know, we really do recommend that. The day that you're going to be at the Lonnock Gathering, we're hoping to have you there about 11ish. And you will have a lunch ticket that you'll be able to go and pick up the lunch of your choice whenever you're hungry. The main event happens in the arena around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's where you would definitely want to be well in your seats. You are in the covered stand, so if we get any of that liquid sunshine, you're going to be just fine. You'll be in that covered stand and you'll be able to, you know, watch the Highlanders do their thing in the ring. And then the Beat the Retreat is normally around about 5ish. And that's when you'll be, you know, back on the coach again and heading back to Aberdeen. So it should be, you know, a wonderful event. I think but it is a great time for you really to get engaged with the local folks as well and have a great time. There are vendors there. It's not like going to any of the American games. It's different. There's not going to be clan tents. There's, you know, nothing like that. There is a vendor area. There are food vendors, drinks vendors. There is some local pubs in walking distance that folks might, you know, congregate in. But it's more the kind of event where people open up. It's like tailgating. They're going to open up the back of the cars, have picnics, meet up with old friends, new friends, you know, all that kind of thing. So it should be a lovely experience for you. But it is different to, you know, how we know American games to be. So, you know, just to get you prepped for that, it's a much more local thing. And then, so we spoke about credit cards before, so we've got that covered. Yeah, so especially the areas we're going to, we are out in the countryside. So as we said, restaurants are not going to be open, you know, late at night. There's no Uber Eats, you know, there's nothing like that. Lunch is typically, you know, done by 2 in the afternoon. There's no going in at 3 and getting lunch typically. You know, it's just different. You know, it's a different country you're going to, they do things different, but that's all part of the fun. It's just the different cultures and navigating through that as well. We do queue up. That is for sure. So if you're waiting for a train or a bus or a ticket window to pick tickets up, everyone is pretty orderly and they're just going to naturally queue. You know, that's just the British way. We're just used to queuing up. So if anybody jumps the queue, everyone is going to turn around and basically say, hey, you're not a queue jumper. Yeah, back to your spot. So, you know, and no one's shy about saying that. Yep.
Janet, got a question.
Yep.
So for the games, those that want to wear a kilt that day, well, what about shirt attire for that day if it's going to be possible activities?
Like, how do you mean activities, Jim? So you're basically.
I mean, is it gonna be warm? Are we gonna participate in any set events? I'm not gonna do the camber toss by no means, but
I was like, Jim,
Oh, come on, Jim.
hey, easy in the crowds now, easy.
I know.
He probably
So
won't
Jim-
make it because he's going to be in jail for trying to take the claymore down off the wall.
Hey, we can get a tug of war team going.
Yeah, so I can find out because I'm very much in touch with the lady that's organizing the Lonnock Games. So I'll find out if there are any events or that you can participate in.
No, I mean, obviously, I've never worn a kilt other than one time in my entire life. Is it appropriate to wear a t-shirt to said event or a short sleeve shirt? I have no clue, which is why I'm asking.
Yes, absolutely. So if you want to wear a t-shirt with your kilt that particular day, or you want to wear a short sleeve shirt, that's absolutely fine. What I will say, Jim, is have that sweater in your backpack, because if the wind gets up or the rain gets going or you get chilly, you know, just have layers. So yes, I would encourage you to wear tartan that day. I would encourage you to wear your kilts. You know, it is a day to flash that tartan. So I think that would be great. And I still am going to find out about those events for you, Jim.
Okay, now Bart has a question. I would love to jump in line with the Lanark Highlanders, but I know I'm going to carry the whole spear, but that's not going to happen, I realize. But that would be an awesome experience.
Leave it with me, Bart.
Well, what's that? The Lanark Highlanders, and they march from pub to pub, from drink to drink, carrying
my God.
long spears in their kilts. I would, maybe not this year, but that would be my bucket list, to be one of the Lanark
I'd like to see
Highlanders.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe we'll witness that.
they start that really early in the morning, Bart. So typically by 8 o'clock, those Highlanders are already on their drink parade and heading up to Billabeg. So yes, certainly for the next one, we can definitely see if we can get you kitted out that day. But I do think you need that spear as well, and make sure that you can go on the drinks parade with them as well. It is a tradition.
Drinks parade is calling it.
She means you need to practice up for a year.
Okay, I'll practice the
Drinking.
drinks parading.
I mean, I think it is an amazing event. This year, we're not going to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, to do that, but we'll certainly put that down, for future trips, that maybe we can get there super early and get you geared up so you can actually participate in the whole thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. I'm just seeing where we are now. We're done queuing. Obviously, some of you are going to be in Scotland before or staying longer. So obviously, we do encourage you to get out of the main tourist attractions and try a lot of local stuff too. There's great hikes, walks, all that kind of stuff. I have noted down here that as Scottish people tend to be a little bit more subdued in our dresses, especially when it comes to the men in kilts, that, you're not going to see those people with tartan tammies, or if you do, stay away from them. They're not locals. So yeah, we're just saying, don't go crazy out there. Just, keep it a little bit more subdued so you blend. And yes, don't mimic Scottish accents because someone's going to pick you up on it. So I know that some of you are really good at it, but like, let's not do that one. And then just like here, you know, the whole world is a little upside down just now, and we really do encourage you not to talk about politics or religion unless it really is with people that you know really well, you know their stand, and it's something that you are all wanting to talk about, but I would avoid it like the plague. You know, it's just, it can be, a lot of people have very strong and very staunch views, so it's just best not to open up that can of worms. You know, we just recommend that. And then other than that, things to remember, crisps in Scotland are potato chips. And if you actually want chips, it's French fries. So, you know, I've heard people doing this many times, and they'll ask what vegetables come with their meal, and they'll say mashed potatoes or whatever else. And then they'll ask you, do you want a side of chips? That is not potato chips. That is French fries. So I don't think you probably want French fries with your potatoes, but I've saw people doing it time and time again. And then they're looking at, you know, the waitress like she's crazy, but she just asked the question, you know, so things like that. Just, you know, I'm sure you'll have a few laughs of different things you're going to ask for, and people will give you that look of, what did you just ask for? But go with it. You know, humor in Scotland as well. We're very good at laughing at ourselves. So if you do something, say something, ask something, and someone laughs, just go with it. They're not making a fool of you. They're just laughing at maybe, you know, what you asked. They're laughing at themselves that they probably asked it to, and it's, you know, not the most appropriate thing or whatever else. So just go with it. I mean, one story I can tell you, a large event, we were over there, and they had tons and tons of porta potties lined up, and this lady was, you know, horrified. She went, and, you know, she was not happy with the condition of where she went, so she came out, went up to a police officer, and she says, you have to get a plumber, you have to get a plumber. And she went on and on and on and on, and we were just listening. And I was already laughing because I thought, I am just really intrigued to see what the police officer is going to say. And he turned to her and said, ma'am, stripes on my arm, police officer, not plumber. And he just walked away and left her, you know, and she just stood there still in distress. So I'm just saying, if you get some funny comments, go with it. It's Scotland. You know, they're not trying to offend you or anything else. And, you know, if you say something that doesn't quite mesh with them, that's okay too. You know, it's a new culture, a new experience, completely different from America. So enjoy. And then we go on to things like, I've got it, you know, mentioned under here under geostats, just letting you know the country predominantly Protestant, letting you know the voltage for, you know, your transformers, country codes for making calls. And then we move on to tipping. Tipping is not essential in Scotland. It typically is for maybe the taxi driver or something like that. You want to give them an extra few pounds. No one particularly expects to get tipped. It's normally done if you had a really great dinner service or something like that, you may want to leave a tip. The only time that I would say you definitely want to think about tipping is for your guides and the driver. And the normal is, in fact, I'll kind of put this on your shoulders, is getting close to the end. We normally suggest you just have an envelope, pass it around your group, let them put, you know, have one for each of the guides. You're going to have 2 guides on this trip, and you're going to have the 1 driver. And then you just put what you feel, you know, you want to give in the envelope. And then Bart, you know, at the last day of the tour, you give it to them. So I'll kind of put that onus on your shoulders a little bit.
Could you give us sort of the typical amount so that we have enough money?
Yeah, they told us when I was traveling in Europe every time about what to put in the envelopes.
Let me have a think on that, and then I'll put that out in an email blast. So, you know, I hate to tell people what to tip, but yeah,
it is helpful. I've been, too.
Yep.
They've given sort of a suggested amount, just so, you know, because you're at the end of the trip and you just want to make sure you have enough.
enough cash. I completely get it, Jen. Okay, let me have a little think on that, and then
Okay.
I
Also directly talk, I will talk with Jamie. I mean, Jamie and I, we're pretty good. He was my tour, Tony and my tour guide for 3 days. He drove me around, us around for 3 days. And that's what was the genesis of this tour. And we tipped him, but I can actually talk to him directly because it's going to be him and Angus Forbes Cable who are helping us out. And I just say, I'll just ask him. I feel comfortable enough, Janet, to talk to Jamie directly about that.
okay, perfect. No
So,
problem at all.
I'll just go with that. I want to encourage Angus. I don't. Could you mention that to everybody about what the situation with Angus and who he is? I don't know if anybody. If you mention, introduce Angus to us.
Yeah, so Angus is actually Lord Semple's nephew. So he is going to be from like another branch of the Semple Forbes. So Jamie's mother was married. So this Jamie, when I'm talking about, I call him Jamie, Lord Semple, or you know, whoever you want to call him.
Not sir.
Then his mother was married twice, so there was, you know, kids to both fathers. So Jamie's from one leg of that, and Angus is from the other. So he's much younger than Jamie. Very vibrant, a historian, an amazing young man. He's also a guide. So you will have both guys on the tour. Jamie will be with you until after you go to Culloden House for your afternoon tea. Jamie will depart at that point because he has some other commitments. Unfortunately, you know, as COVID and the years have passed, you know, other things come up, and so he has something else he has to leave. But Angus is going to be with you the whole time. So Angus will be with you from, you know, after you do your afternoon tea at Culloden House, all the way through the Lonnet Gathering, and then back to the Chester Hotel in Aberdeen with you. So you'll get a nice flavor of two different guys. They bring very different things to the table, both of them highly knowledgeable, but you know, you're going to have a young dude and an old dude. So, you know, they'll complement each other very nicely. Both of them wicked senses of humor. So I know you're going to be well entertained. It's really helpful having the two guys as well, because that morning when you're going to be in Elgin, the group is pretty split. Half of yous, or more or less, half of yous are going to do Elgin Cathedral. The other half are going off to Johnston's to see, you know, the cashmere getting made. So it'll be good having the guys that day as well. You know, one group, you know, one guide will take one group and one with the other. And it's just good. I mean, you're going to be 26 people. So having two guides, you know, they'll be able to keep you all amused and bring up the rear, you know, for those that try and wander off, we'll catch you and you'll get herded back into that group again. But, you know, for questions and things like that, you know, you're going to have two guys to ask, which I think is better anyway. And you're going to get their stories. I mean, obviously, Jamie as a child grew up in a castle. He grew up in Craigievar. So, you know, Angus didn't have that same upbringing. So you're just going to get some great perspectives, and obviously a different branch of the Forbes.
Thank you.
So with that, going back to the tipping, are we going to want to be prepared for Jamie's departure?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, obviously Angus is going back to Edinburgh as well. So
Okay.
if necessary, you can give both envelopes to Angus and he can give one to Jamie, you know, whatever works for you. I mean, it'd be nice to give Jamie at Culloden House, you know, when you finish your afternoon tea, but you know, if it doesn't work out that way, no big deal. You can give it to Angus and he will pass it along.
I will plan on doing it the last day so we have the full experience, so we'll have a full evaluation. And I'm sure Angus, and I'll let Jamie know that Angus has his go. So, but no, I wouldn't worry about having too much cat in me. But the last day at Lonnet Games, we can kind of huddle and figure it out as well. But just bring the cash for that. I'll get an idea from Jamie about what we all, you know, arrange, and then we can make our decision based on the service and all that. And don't forget too that the coach driver. Now, Janet, is it going to be the same coach driver throughout the entire tour as well?
It will be. It will be. Yeah.
That'll be
so, yeah,
it's very well.
Yes, he will. You'll know. And see, that's the good thing, because, you know, you'll know what you can get away with and what you can't. You'll know when he says, be here at this time, or, you know, you've got another 10 minutes, you know, you'll get to know your driver. They're always, you know, super helpful. It is a local company from Old Meldrum, you know, we're very close to Meldrum House Hotel. Called Baines Coaches. And as I said, it's a 35-seater coach, not too big, but there is a little bit room if somebody wants to spread out, you know, and stretch their legs a little bit as well. So that should be all good. All right, moving on. We're now at cell phones. So obviously everybody has a, you know, either an iPhone or some kind of smartphone. Just call your cell phone provider, tell them where you're going, and let them, and always remember to tell them where you're transiting through as well, should you need to use your phone there. So if it's Amsterdam, Germany, you know, wherever, let them know, and then find out, you know, what is the best they're going to offer you. What I do find, because mine's is always, you know, available no matter where I'm going. So I find that texting is the least expensive way of staying in touch with friends and family or business colleagues or whatever. If you have to make a call, it's more expensive, but, you know, everybody sometimes has to make that call. Make sure that you've got, you know, a data plan, because you're going to want to take probably pictures on your phone. So just ask them all those questions and make sure that they go through the settings on your phone. Every phone's a little bit different, and make sure you know exactly what settings to, you know, flick on, so that you're not disappointed and, you know, you get there and you have problems with your phone.
Hey, this is Jim. Just to chime in on that, if you have AT&T as your carrier and you have the unlimited plan, you can have them add Europe to it, and it's $10 a day, regardless if you get a text, get on the internet, or receive a phone call. So once you receive one, you might as well use it all day, because it's $10 a day for the duration that you're there. So $70, you have unlimited access. If you have AT&T, the unlimited plan, talk to your carrier. They can add it on there, no problem. It's super good. I've used it multiple times in Europe. It's a splendid deal for communicating back home.
Well, that's
There you
gone.
go.
Verizon is almost the same. I forget now. It's like $100 for a month, but
I
you
think it's a month version, yeah.
Yeah, they're all different. All the plans are a bit quirky, you know, just ask, but do call your provider in plenty of time so you're all set. Sometimes I do have issues, and I don't know if you've had this, Jim, but if I'm transiting through some places, I sometimes have to switch my phone off and back on, and then it kicks in and everything's good. I've only had that problem going through Ireland for whatever reason, and it was just a real pain. I couldn't get any service, couldn't get anything, but then I just shut the whole thing
Once I come off airplane mode, it syncs up wherever I land, and we're normally pretty good.
Good. Perfect. So that would be that. And then I sent you a little picture of, you know, a kind of universal adapter. You can get them all kinds of places. Amazon obviously is probably the cheapest. And it's good if it's got the USB port and everything in it. I've given you a picture there. You can see that the prongs for the UK are kind of square prongs. But you can see on the back side of that picture how your you know, things would plug into it. So you can get those from Amazon. They're really everywhere. So no problems there. And then duty free, Jim, I know you had a question on this way back when. So 1 liter of alcohol per person is what you're allowed to bring back into the US. If you bring more and you don't get stopped, well, then lucky old you. If you do bring more and you do get stopped, sometimes they just kind of talk to you and you walk on through with it. Or if you get someone really grumpy, they may want to take it from you or charge you duty. So that's kind of how that goes.
Janet, is it
Yep.
1 liter still coming from Amsterdam into Great Britain?
I believe so. I believe it's the same as 1 liter per person.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I have to tell you, I always have more than 1 liter and I go that risk.
I confess, me too.
Is that not what global entry's for?
Yeah, 1.75 liter. It's big miles.
So I don't go crazy, but I typically have more than a liter. Other things that I can recommend bringing back, and I know this is not the best, but I bring back with me every single time, is tinned haggis. So if you're close enough, like in Inverness, and you go in the supermarket, there's a particular brand, I believe it's Baxter's, and you can get tinned haggis. And I can tell you, it's really great. It's great for breakfast if you're into that full Scottish breakfast. So you can get tinned haggis if you want to bring it back. Again, I've been stopped and they've asked me, what is this? And I tell them it's a form of oatmeal, and they never question it. They just pass me on, you know, and it has oatmeal in it. So I'm not completely like misleading them. So there are things like that, you know, that you can put in your checked luggage as well. I've never had a problem bringing it back. I mean, my husband's addicted to Daddy's brown sauce. As long as it's in my checked luggage, I've never been stopped with it. The one thing I have been stopped with is there's a particular brand of like beef stock cubes that I like in Scotland. If you bring anything that's anything to do with beef, you're going to get stopped. They're going to take it off you. You know, it goes back to the mad cow disease type stuff. So
I've been on a couple of trips coming back to the States without alcohol, not me, but others. And what happened is to switch then to an American flight transition. And now they have more than the specified amount of liquid with them because they had to somehow show them or something through customs. And so now they had it. So it was a problem, like a flight from Cuba, and I forget where the other flight was coming from. So knowing in advance what you're going to do with that bottle if you have to switch once you arrive in the States.
So typically when it comes to alcohol, then it has to be in your checked luggage. And so even if you then say you come from Aberdeen and you come into Newark, that alcohol needs to be in your checked luggage. And then when you pick up your checked luggage and continue on, say, to Florida or somewhere else, then it should still be in your checked luggage. I mean, you can't.
Okay.
And then, so let me give you another scenario. So like for you, Jim, you're going from, let's say, Aberdeen to Amsterdam. So when you leave Aberdeen, that liquor has to be in your checked luggage. So you can't do the duty free at the airport and then take it on the plane with you, arrive in Amsterdam and walk through with it. Then they'll take it from you because it has to be in your checked luggage.
Yeah.
So
it was a scenario sort of like that people have run into problems. And also here in the States where, you know, maybe the bag went on, but the alcohol purchased at some point didn't. And now you're over the liquid limit.
And they'll take it from you, Joan,
for
sure. And I've saw that for ladies as well with perfume. Do not buy perfume in the duty free unless you can get it into your checked luggage because they'll take it off you if you're transiting through, you know, Amsterdam or somewhere else. You'll just lose it, you know, they have no problem taking it from you. So, you know, any liquid at all, get it in your checked luggage, you know, before you leave Aberdeen.
Buy it the day before.
Keep it around your body.
Finish it up, but share it with friends.
Exactly. You'd need to be a fast drinker or spray yourself down. Yeah, you'd be doused in perfume. So that brings me to the end of all my kind of, you know, obvious suggestions. Does anybody have any questions for me?
One thing that you had sent about meals, are people going to any of those other restaurants? You know, I like trying new and different restaurants, and I don't mind being by myself, but I'm not sure that I do taxi rides or whatever, but are people and I don't want to be a third or fifth wheel either, but are people mostly eating in the hotels or?
You're welcome.
We signed up, but
You're welcome to go with my daughter and me. We're you know, we're game to walk anywhere and do anything. So try anything.
Have you signed up for any of them?
No, I had texted you. The ding you heard on Janet's phone was me asking about.
I know you, Sharon.
Yes, you did.
So with regards to the reason for asking people if they wanted, you know, dining reservations put in place is because just like in the US, Scotland is definitely suffering from catering staff and chefs. So a lot of the restaurants now are only doing so many covers per night. So I just didn't want anyone being disappointed if they wanted to eat like at 7 o'clock at night or 7:30 that we didn't have a dine-in spot reserved for you, and then you just want to wing it, and then they say, well, we can't seat you till 9 o'clock and you don't want to eat that late, then you're not going to have a whole lot of options. The first hotel at Meldrum House, then it has the cave bar and it has the main dining restaurant that's going to be open for you. The cave bar is a little bit more casual. It's evolved quite a bit since the last time I was there, and actually there's a whiskey bar in it now as well. It's a little bit different in style. You can definitely eat there. It's a little bit more casual, but there is, you know, the regular dining room as well. You will be eating in that the first night, so you know, somebody may want to switch up and do the cave bar the second night, or certainly they can do the main dining room again. I did make some suggestions of restaurants off-site, but they are a taxi right away. They're not really walkable. So unless you're really looking for a long walk. So, but you can definitely ask the front reception. They'll help you get a taxi organized. If a few you want to group together and share a ride and head out to one of the other, you know, local restaurants. Again, if you want to do that, I mean, feel free to use me to get your reservations in place. Again, you can always cancel them, but not to have anything in place. I just don't want you being disappointed. And that's
hold on.
only reason.
Leslie is having a puppy incident.
Uh-oh.
I thought I would have a cat incident.
Leslie, is the puppy under control now?
I'm sorry. She's very affectionate.
Oh.
Jumped up on Leslie twice now. So Janet, whatever you said, I'm sure is brilliant. I was watching Leslie's camera. I think Jim was too, and Natalie, because we know Leslie.
Oh, no problem. So
I just wanted to say that, Joan, we're very adventurous. We'd be happy to go with y'all anywhere, do anything. Yeah. If Janet or the concierge or locals have recommendations, I would rather go with, you know, have an adventure with something or someplace that what a local recommend, because I find that's the most exciting and fun to learn about the local community. So Joan, I'm up with it. I think,
Me too.
Okay.
You're also,
I am too. I'm, you know, I'm very up for it too. But I thought, ooh, I don't want to lose out on the space. You know, I do want to have something to eat.
Well, let's let Janet make reservations for us, so we'll have some place to eat at the hotel. But then we'll just play it by ear. Is that good?
Well, I think just to be fair to the hotels as well, because obviously they're all places and all, you know, restaurants are only going to do so many covers. So I think maybe when you get to the Dowens Hotel, it might be good one of the nights to have something in place. And then obviously you're going to get super familiar with the area on the second and third night. I would still say if there's, you know, if you guys all want to chat amongst yourselves, if there's somewhere in particular you want to dine, let's put a reservation in place so you know, anytime you want that they're offering and put something in place. You can, when you get there, if you decide to go somewhere else, just call and cancel it. But I wouldn't say book out the hotel because there's, you know, it's only going to be you guys that are staying at the hotel, but it is a local hotel for lots of people to go out and eat. So I would hate us to say, yeah, we're taking all these reservations and no one goes.
Well, no,
you
I
know
mean,
what I mean?
Yeah, I meant like the first couple of nights. I mean, we're going there a couple of days early. So, okay.
Yeah. If that makes sense. And my only reason for, you know, bringing this to your attention is purely because I know that all the restaurants are struggling with, you know, being able to cater to the same volume of people they used to before. And Leslie, I think you can probably, you know that because I know we were talking about 7-ish for years, and the restaurant is only doing 2 covers, 6 to 6:45. Then they take a break till 8 o'clock.
Oh.
And they, and then they go to 9:15. That was for the mash tun. And they're very honest about it. They say we just don't have the staff. So it's just a different world we're living in. It's not completely back to normal yet. I mean, I see it in some local restaurants here, in the Centennial area. You just can't always get the time you want, it's just different.
So I don't know what to do. I don't know whether we all just need to get together again to just talk about restaurants after we do a little research, or what we need to do.
I suggest that Janet gives us some suggestions, and then we share them on email again, and then we can kind of get a poll of who wants to go where to what kind of place, and then we can give Janet some guidance. Does that sound reasonable?
It does. Yeah.
Perfect.
I
I'll
wanna
put
miss
those.
out, but I want to go local.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, Bart.
Yeah.
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 I mean, when you get to the Downs Hotel, you're very, very close to the little town of Aberlour. So, you can easily, there are, probably the mash tun is walkable, but it's a long walk. So maybe a taxi there and walk back, that kind of thing. The Craigellachie Hotel is super nice to go to as well. I mean, I'll put those out in a fresh email again, just for you all to think on, and then give you time for those that want to group together. And, let's just get a table booked for you, especially if there's going to be larger numbers, because that might be all the covers for that time, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
Do we know?
One
I'm
thing
sure that
Janet
we
has
must.
said- oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Jen.
I was just gonna. I'm sorry. I was going to ask what time we'll be back at our hotels at night. What time?
So it will vary. You should be back at the hotel sometime between 5:30 and 6 most evenings. The one that might be a little bit longer is the day that we do the Speyside cooperage, and then we go on to the after hours at Glenlivet Distillery. We have to be at the Glenlivet Distillery for 4:30. So I wouldn't imagine you being there more than an hour and a half. But if people have lots of questions, or it can go a little bit longer. From there back to the hotel is probably only 30 minutes. It's not far, but it just depends how quickly your experience goes at Glenlivet, how many questions people ask, and that kind of stuff.
So along with suggestions for places to eat, maybe you could put down a suggested time for us to leave the hotel to get there, and what kind of reservation we need, what time reservation we need.
What I've kind of put out there, Sharon, is I don't think eating before 7 o'clock is a good idea, because if we get back to the hotel at 6, you're going to kind of be scrambling if you want to go and freshen up, or just do your own thing, check your email or whatever. So I'm thinking, 7 or later is probably, a good time to eat. And that might be a little later than you normally eat, but you're on vacation.
No, that's fine. And how long, we have to gauge getting a taxi and getting there as well.
Exactly. So I think, I really don't think booking anything earlier than 7 is the best, because you know what it's like. You're going to get off the coach, you're going to start, chatting with some people or whatever else. Some people might go to the bar first. Some people go up and get changed. Some people check their emails. So just so you're not harassed after being out on the go all day. I mean, I'll do it for any time you want, but I'm just giving you my recommendation.
Okay. Sounds good.
Any other questions for Janet? Wow. Thank you, Janet. You covered a lot. You may be dismissed. I think I would like to chat with everybody else for a while, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, everyone, have a great rest of your night. You can email me, and Shannon will vouch for it. You can text me at any time.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, my daughter is not here because my grandson is playing in a championship ball game tonight. That is baseball. That is baseball. He's a pitcher.
Oh, well, hey, I'm just doing the Go Avalanche tonight, Let's see if we can get that Stanley Cup here to Denver. Isn't that right, Natalie?
Thank you
Well,
for
all right.
Bye,
everything.
Janet.
Thank you,
Okay.
Janet.
Bye. All
Thank you,
right.
Janet.
Thank you, Janet. Good luck
Bye-bye.
with that one.